The New America Foundation, newamerica.net, I believe their website is. Yes, it is. Has a new study out. It's a policy paper. The headline, Secure Retirement for All Americans, Guaranteeing the American Dream by Expanding Social Security. They point out that while poor, middle class, even moderately upper middle class Americans are taxed at 12.4% for Social Security on 100% of their income, a lawyer making $500,000 a year pays only 2.5%. A millionaire banker pays a paltry 1.2%. And, the billionaire bankers, I mean, there were some of these hedge fund guys last year who made over $1 billion. They're paying less than 0.1% in Social Security taxes. And so this study summarizes, says taxing all income brackets equally would raise about $377 billion, which is 60% of the revenue necessary to double Social Security benefits. Is that if you go on and eliminate other deductions in the tax code that allow higher income people to reap generous deductions that low and moderate income Americans can't enjoy, and, for example, doing away with things like 401ks, IRAs, and pensions deductions, which are mostly taken by upper middle class and very wealthy people, very few average working people, very few people at median income, $44,000 a year, even have a 401k, that you could fully fund it forever by simply lifting the cap and doing this. So is this a way to make Social Security solvent forever? Sounds pretty cool to me. Stephen Moore is on the line with us. He is a conservative economist, editorial board member of the Wall Street Journal, co-author of Return to Prosperity with Arthur Laffer, online.wsj.com, the website. Stephen Moore, welcome back to the program.
Hi, Tom. Great to be with you.
Thank you. Hey, why shouldn't we double Social Security benefits to create more of a middle class among our elderly and our disabled and tax the wealthy people who support think tanks like on your side?
Well, Tom, the reason is that Social Security is a lousy deal for people of every income. And the people who pay the most into the system and get the least out relative to what they pay in is those very high-income people that you're talking about. Anyone who makes over $100,000 is only going to get about $1 back for every $3 they put in. So what you're saying is maybe they should put $100 in for every dollar they get.
I am absolutely saying that I think that you or Bill Gates or any other, I don't know what your income is, frankly. I shouldn't personalize this.
I wish it were Bill Gates' income.
Yeah, I'm guessing that you're probably more of the working stiff type. But in any case, my point is that we all benefit collectively as a society from having a Social Security system where fully 1/3 of the payments go to people like my dear friend Michael Hutchison, who slipped and broke his neck when he was running on the ice back about 10 years ago and is paralyzed in Santa Fe. That's 1/3 of Social Security payments, and he's living on the edge of poverty, and I've seen how bad it is. And the other 2/3 is elderly Americans. Why don't we give these people a chance to be a little more middle class? That'll actually stimulate the economy. And frankly, I would say that the wealthy, the millionaires and billionaires that you're arguing on behalf of, would benefit from this because they would live in a society where all the boats have been lifted a little bit, where life is a little bit better. There are fewer, homeless people. There are fewer. There's less. We've now got even a TB epidemic in Los Angeles and New York. Let's lift everybody up a little bit.
Well, what you're saying, Tom, is we should just overtly turn Social Security into a welfare system, an income transfer.
No, I'm not suggesting there should be any means testing at all. I do not want to means test Social Security.
No, but why don't we just why should any rich person get anything out of Social Security at that point? I mean, why should Bill Gates get any Social Security payment?
Because he paid into it.
Yeah, but the point is you're saying we should pay in $100 for every dollar he gets out. It doesn't make any sense. What does make sense to me, I think, is to allow every young person under the age of 30 to take half of the payroll tax that they pay and put it into a 401k or some kind of personal account that's safely invested and let them tap into the power of compound interest. If we did that, Tom, all those poor people you're talking about, we would have a nation of pension millionaires.
What you're suggesting, Stephen Moore, is that we take more and more money out of the Social Security Trust Fund and give it to Wall Street, where they can skim Hank Paulson can skim he made $4 billion last year, just one guy, and paid a maximum 15% income tax on it, and no Social Security taxes on it. And you want more of that?
Yeah, what I'm saying, look, if you don't want the money invested in the stock market, that's fine. I mean, you get a higher return on the stocks than you do on bonds. But
if you want to let people put more money in, why not let them put more money into Social Security and Treasuries?
Because Social Security is a lousy deal. And that's my point, though.
It's never missed a check.
What?
It's never missed a check. The average American, the average middle-class American right now who is over 40 years old, who is heading for retirement in the next 20 years, the average American has seen their net worth in the last 3 years since the Bush crash go down $171,000, and mostly because of loss in home values, because that's the main part of the three-part stool of retirement. And you're suggesting that you want to put people even at greater risk for that?
No, you could have them invest the money in Treasury securities if you want to, but the point is let them own the money, because what's happened over the last 20 years, the Social Security program that you say that has been such a great deal, over $1 trillion of the money in the Social Security fund has been stolen by the politicians and spent on other programs.
It has not been stolen. There are treasuries there. Are you suggesting that when we borrow money from China, that they have somehow stolen that money from us when they buy our treasuries?
What I'm saying is that what we've done is the left hand of the government has borrowed the money from the right hand.
No, wait a minute. Are you suggesting that when George W. Bush was born with millions and millions of dollars in his trust fund and treasury bills that he was stealing from the U.S. government?
No, what I'm saying is that you can't use the same dollar twice. The money has already been spent, Tom, so it can't be spent against Social Security. The only way we're going to get the money for Social Security is to continue to borrow even more and more money from the Chinese, and I think that's a pretty bad idea.
Or raise taxes on the rich.
We've been doing that for 20 years. I mean,
no, we've been cutting taxes on the rich for 30 years. 30 years ago, the top tax rate on the rich was 74%. What is it right now?
Yeah.
How much does Hank Paulson? Or John Paulson? How much does John Paulson pay in taxes? Maximum income tax of 15% and no Social Security tax at all.
Yeah, well, you know what, Tom? Income taxes, the top 10% pay over 80% of the income taxes.
And they make over 90%. And they make over 90% of all the income.
Well, let's just say that means we need more rich people.
No, I mean it does not. What it means is that we need people to be paying taxes that are proportionate to their use of the commons, to their use of Hank Paulson wouldn't be able to take a $4.5 billion paycheck, or Stephen J. Hemsley wouldn't be able to take $400 million. $470 million for his 5 years of work as the CEO of United Healthcare if we didn't have a strong banking infrastructure, if we didn't have the Treasury Department, if we didn't have currency, if we didn't have courts in which contracts could be enforced, if we didn't have all of this stuff that we all collectively pay for. Let these guys pay more for it.
Well, let's have shareholders make sure that these CEOs aren't having these golden parachutes. You and I agree on that. When these
shareholders
CEOs
have no power.
I know, and I think they ought to have more power. But the point is, well, look, when a CEO rips off a company, I'm all in favor of, going after those people. But the CEOs who add value...
But you want to destroy Social Security.
Yeah. What?
But you want to destroy Social Security.
I don't want to restore it. I want to modernize it so young workers get.
So you want some guy who's working 3 jobs at Walmart as a carpenter part-time and at the 7-Eleven to somehow instantly become an investment advisor for himself so that he can take his leftover money and put it into a 401k?
The only way people can get rich in this country is by investing and working hard. And if you let that Mexican worker you're talking about who's working hard 3 jobs, you let him.
I don't think the American dream is getting rich, Stephen Moore. The American dream is having a good, solid income. Well, then 99% of Americans are never going to achieve the American dream because it's it's a zero-sum game. You can't have everybody be billionaires.
Everybody wants to get rich except for you, Tom.
No, I think everyone wants to be part of the middle class, Stephen Moore.
I don't. The middle class wants to get rich too.
Okay. Well, I think we've uncovered a fundamental difference in worldview. Stephen Moore, thanks for being with us.